Hey, it's me in the exact same spot I left off in the last video. So, buggy still doesn't have any tubing on it. My hydraulic bender's back up and going. We're gonna make these tube, bend some tube, and create some sort of design for this thing. So, check it out. Okie dokie. So this is just kind of hovering here because it's only got the front bolts in, but that's kind of where we need the rear seat to sit. So we're going to be designing this thing around that. However, this bar that comes off of here, well, it'll be like here and here. Those two bars need to have at least 10 inches of clearance from the tabs to whatever metal we put up here, just so it doesn't bottom out without bump stops. So we'll be using 18-inch coilovers back here. This is 10 inches of shock showing on each side. We got to design it so it will not smash metal to metal with 10 inches of travel. So that's the idea. Let's start there and see what we can come up with. Alrighty guys, we are gonna back it up a few steps. So for one, last night Dylan ordered all new seats plus a bench seat just because I don't know if whatever bench seat we get is gonna fit until I have the bench seat. So I'm a little worried about this space just in between here and the bench seat going in and having enough room to move the bench seat back a little bit further, get a little more leg room in there. Additionally, I hate these. So I'm gonna cut this all out of here, figure out another tube to go in. I think up something kind of like this. You can kind of see that. Do something like that and then tie this tube, that tube right there, all the way up to that somehow. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think it'll look the best that way. It'll flow nice and still match the rest of the buggy. So that's the idea. Let's get to cutting. Alrighty, finally got a design that I like. So ended up chopping off that door bar piece right there, swooping it up, joining with that bar all the way up. I think it looks good. All kind of bent with the same angles as the cage that's already there. So the worst part about doing something cool is you have to do it twice. So now I have to figure out how to match all this over there, and then we'll be doing top bars somehow. I don't really know what to do here. Something up there. But yeah, so let's keep going. Alrighty guys, so we are going to be on a break from the tubing back here. Macy's definitely on a break, eating some cookies. But I can't go too much further just because I need the bench seat in there first. So we'll put the bench seat in there and then build all the tubes around it. The next tube I want to do is this one that grabs all the shocks and then comes out. So I'm gonna wait on that. However, we just got a Hydro Boost kit in from Wide Open Designs, and we're gonna be replacing this old booster pump, or booster thing, whatever you want to call it, brake booster, with a Wide Open Design unit. So we're gonna start disassembling it. We'll just pull out the lines, probably make a mess down there, but I'm almost positive that this is the same bolt pattern. If you can see up there, there's just 4 bolts up in there, and I'm pretty sure it's the same as the Hydro Boost unit is. So they're both GM, so we'll see what happens with that. But let's get a start on this and just crack some brake lines open and start removing everything. Alrighty guys, so it actually bolts up pretty good. These holes down here are just a little off. I'll just kind of run a rotary file in there and line up that hole. And then I had to build a plate because this, I don't know what this thing is, some sort of thing was hitting where this originally was mounted, so it's just sitting in there. So I made a plate right here, and that bolts here, and then I'll come off of there with, you know, a tab, comes all the way out kind of like this, and then it'll bolt this reservoir somewhere in, yeah, that, oops, spinning this thing all over, somewhere like that. So that way the reservoir is right next to each other. It should be good, nice and solid, everything bolts in. Okay, so we got it all mounted up, and it was actually fairly easy. Just had to kind of make some holes slightly larger on the firewall, and we are real freaking close right here. Yeah, but close enough to send it. So I got all that in there. That is the brake pedal installed, all painted. I painted it so we didn't have to take it back apart. And then I built this bracket right there to hold the reservoir. So it's got these bolt holes here, way down here. And we'll move the reservoir right there. And that's the power steering reservoir. So, and I'll probably slide it up just to get it as high as I can in this range, which will be just about a little higher than the booster, which I don't think. This can be mounted in any direction, so it doesn't necessarily have to like bleed air, trapped air in there. It'll just push that air out no matter what. So anyways, moving the reservoir in the up on that bracket. This is just bench bleeding it. You just kind of hook up these fittings and you bleed it back into itself. So we'll give that a shot now and move on with our lives. Alrighty, so we got it kind of bled, all good. However, this is the return port right here, and this needs to return to this. So I don't have another port on there, so what I did is I cut apart just a fitting I had laying around. I think it used to be an LS fuel rail fitting. Got this cut off. We're going to be welding it, drilling it, and welding it onto this reservoir so we can have an AN fitting thread into the reservoir. And then this is still just a barbed fitting, but we'll use a barbed fitting there and weld this on here. Okie dokie. She's all welded on there. I kind of struck oil on this side a little bit, but she's good. A little wire brushing and re-welding, and it's happy. So anyways, now it's a 3-port reservoir. This is the return from the orbital valve. This is the return from the hydro boost unit. And then the feed line is going to be the big, I think it's a 8 or a 10 AN feed line that goes to the pump. So reservoir is done, just wait for it to cool off, and then we can start working on trying to plumb wherever these lines are going to go. I'll have to get one more line made, but then we'll be all plumbed, and then we just need to bleed the brakes, and the brakes will be done. Alrighty, we got our new bench seat for the back of the buggy, and it's from Aces Racing. It's the Pro Split Bench. And I don't think it's supposed to be that, so we're going to open it up and see if that's exactly what we ordered. We'll have Macy here open it up for us, right? How you doing? Oh, yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Alright, well there we have it. That is pretty sweet. Aces Racing stuff. I'm assuming they're bolting together. You bolt them together somehow. There's some instructions here. I was going to scan this and see what it brings me to, and see if we can't get them bolted together and then kind of sitting in there somewhere just to give us an idea of where it needs to go. Alrighty, so I got it kind of temporarily just sitting on a 2x4, but I'm going to try to sit in there just to make sure it feels okay and how my feet feel up here. I feel like that's way more room than there was before. So, see if I can jump in there, not fall out, and see what it feels like. Alrighty guys, so I drilled some holes. There's already some holes in there obviously from the previous seats, but I drilled some new holes. This one, then 14 inches over that one, and then same down there. And the spacing between this hole and that far hole looks to be about 41 1/4. So we'll see if I measured correctly and try to bolt at least the front of these seats in, and then we'll have to figure out mounts for the back. I don't know how to support it yet, so figure that out, make sure it feels okay, and then go from there. Alright, so changed my plans just a little bit and went with a bar that does this. So I was just worried about shock clearances if I did a loop and maybe somehow, because this coilover or the bypass, I haven't figured out if the bypass is going in the front or the coilover is going, I don't really know where those go yet. Anyways, if you move it back, I think it'd be getting close to that radius going down, and I don't think it would look right with a panel. It'd be like this with a panel. Or, you know, here, and then it would get real wide and dumb down there. So anyways, this is what I came up with. I like this. The shock height pretty much will be somewhere in this range. However, I don't want to make any tubes or anything like this yet until I get the fuel tank in there, which is coming through Amazon. The fuel tank will be in the back of the seats. It's tall and slim. So get that in there, and then there'll be bars that run across from, you know, here all the way across, and those will help mount the fuel cell and all that other stuff. And I'll end up tying in from this tube up to that bar and then over for the shock tower. So, but before I do any of that, the seat still is not mounted, so it only has the front mounts on there. The back mounts, we still have to create something to come grab this mount and then all the way over. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to run a bar. I just don't know how I'm going to do it yet. We'll figure that out and go from there. Alrighty, so did a bunch of welding because I got bored, and they look pretty good. A little better than the original welds that was on this thing. It's about, I don't know, let's see here, 12 years difference between this and this. You know, I had to learn sometime. So this is actually one of the first buggies. Well, this is the first buggy I ever built, but this is actually one of the first things I ever welded, I would say. So lots of room to improve. I think we're getting better. But yeah, just waiting on, I gotta put that seat in. This is still hot. But yeah, I gotta put the seats back in and then create these last tabs, these ones here, that'll grab that last tab on the seat, and then the rear seat should be in, and we can take them out, put them in the room next door, and move on to something else. I think pretty much next is going to be, well, our fuel cell should be getting here shortly, so use the fuel cell, put that in there, and then create a spot for these shocks. Shocks are probably what's up next. So anyways, making progress. Alrighty, guys. Oh, we got this one over here. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Oh. Alright, so we're on hold for the fuel cell. I need to put that in next, and I can't add any tubes around it because I don't have it yet. So, going over to the front, I've already taken it off, but that's the orbital valve, or the steering shaft going into the orbital valve. That orbital valve is down there. And what I got to do is I got to pull the line going from the pump, the high pressure line going from the pump to the orbital. That now needs to go from the pump to the brake booster in. And then the out of the brake booster needs to go to the orbital. And then that's pretty much the plumbing, since the route or the return off the orbital is already going to the tank, and we just added another fitting to the tank or the reservoir, whatever you want to call it. So return lines are good. All I need to do is add one more line going from the out to the orbital. So that's something I'll be working on, just to make sure everything's nice and clean, so I'm not introducing any debris. I'll clean it all off and start figuring out a line. Alrighty, guys, so I went to Napa and got a hose made that connects the outlet, which is this. That's the inlet over there. This is the outlet over there to the orbital right there. And once that's plumbed, we basically have all the steering and everything good. Just have to bleed the brakes after that. I did notice something after I got home, though. The size of that hole or throat is a lot larger than this one. Giggity, but yeah, so I think that's actually an issue. They're the exact same size. However, for some reason, that one's very restrictive compared to this one. So I might, I think I'm going to order a thread-on one. We'll cut this off and then do like the field repair thread-on hydraulic fittings, which is 100% all I have on my buggy. We will cut this one off, thread a new one on, and I will be much happier. So we'll go with that and see how it works. Get all the air bubbles out of it, cycle it left and right steering, and then get the brakes bled, and we will see how much better it is. Alrighty, jumping around a little bit, but the fuel cell just arrived. So we're going to try to somehow get that just kind of sitting behind it and see what it looks like. So that's kind of the game plan. Alrighty, so just got these tubes tacked in, basically holding the tank where it needs to go this way and this way. And I'll put some rubber down in there just so it doesn't wear. So that's the game plan, just kind of seat it down in there with some rubber in between. And then the bottom of the mount, I'll either have to do sheet metal that comes across here. I'm not real sure what I'm gonna do on the bottom just yet, so I'll figure that out here shortly. Next, I think I want to start messing with some of the suspension. So getting the shock sitting in there, the triple bypass base. I have the tabs over here. So I think next I want to try and figure out, well, I got to cut these off, and then we'll make some new tabs, something like this, 2 of these, and then they'll have, you know, individual tabs here and here, and here and here. And that'll allow the triple bypass to mount, plus the coilover to mount. So we will try to do that, cut these off, get these made, and then kind of tacked in place and see how it goes. Alrighty guys, got it all tacked together. I'm gonna bring it over there. Well, I did that upside down. Yep, that's upside down. Son of a gun. These are supposed to be in here like this. Well, let's redo this. Alrighty, second time's a charm. I got it right side up this time. So these are just chilling. But yeah, so anyways, let's, I guess I'll tack it to the axle and then I'll put in a shock. Make sure that the spacing's good. And then go from there. Alright, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. So I was about to put the tabs on down there. However, the little clamps, quick clamps, and the block of wood is kind of getting in the way of everything. So I want to create some sort of mount or base for this area here. So that's, I think, what I'm going to do next. So kind of do some WGR garage style to it and get this fuel cell kind of sitting on some sort of base or lower mount, just so it doesn't shift left or right. And then we'll figure out upper mount. I think I'm going to run a bar from here all the way over to that side, and then we'll tie into the fuel cell that way. So that's the game plan. I think I'm going to work on that today. Oh man, here we go. King of the Hammer is just kicking off. I should say a race of the Kings is kicking off. Alrighty guys, still got King of the Hammers going. My main dude, Lauren Healy, is out of the race though, so less exciting now. Anyways, got mounts done. Fuel cell is mounted. Got everything in there. Can't move forward, can't move left, can't move up, can't move down. She's good to go. So we got that fully mounted in. Still can connect all your lines up, all that good stuff. So yeah, we have that done, and now on to probably shocks. So I got to get my tabs back out, probably get them tacked here, start lining up my shocks kind of where it needs to be, and then tie it all together. So I think that's what's up next. Let's give it a try. Well, alrighty guys, this video is getting super long, so we are gonna call it quits there. I did get this tacked in place, and so what that's gonna do, hi Macy. What that's gonna do is hold our tabs, so our tabs will go across here, here, and here, or here and here, and hold the first set of shocks. So I don't know whether it's gonna be the triple bypass yet or the coilover, but it'll hold a single shock here. And then the next shock will be down at that tab, and it will be somewhere, well, this one's here, be somewhere over here, I guess. So we'll just go straight across, and that way these will be nice and parallel along with those ones down there, and that'll be good. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video, guys. We got this fuel cell all mounted in there. A lot of this stuff has been nice and welded, finish welded. We got the shocks starting to take shape there, and that will be on the next episode. We'll do the shocks, probably a lot more gussets or just support bars throughout the thing to make the rear end wicked strong. And then we also got to finish the top, so I just have nothing up there yet. We got to finish some sort of design to go out and down or whatever it may be. So all that's going to be on the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.